Hi, how are you guys? This is Shamrondi from Providence Life Design, and I have been coming across a lot of videos that help people with navigating, where they're going and where they're coming, where they're traveling abroad. And I noticed a very common trend. And the trend is something like, even if you're traveling to Guyana, doesn't matter really where you travel, South America, Africa, Mexico, it really doesn't matter where you travel to. It's like if you're not privy to what an actual cost of something is, it is like just figures, numbers, right? If you are not like privy to like what the cost of something is, it's hard to even take advice from someone to get an idea. It's like, okay, maybe I was being robbed, or that's astronomical. Why would they, ask me that? So I decided I'm going to start making a series of videos of things that I know about Guyana, because I know that there is a whole lot of traffic for the reasons we all know, and I won't say, as to why some people, if they had not been making themselves acquainted with it prior, they're making themselves acquainted with it now. You following me? Okay, so let me give you a very quick list, and I'm going to make this a very short video just so I can post it up, get it up, and then I'm going to, go back and make sure I put in keywords and so on. But it's because, the spirit moved me and I need to make this video. So the first thing I want to talk about is when you go in. No, that's not the first thing. The first thing I want to talk about is transportation cost. Let's just say you came into the airport at Chetty Jagan and you wanted to take a taxi into Georgetown, and you wanted a lodge in Georgetown before moving anywhere else. There are some places that will allow you just to pop in and you can see what it is and you'll know automatically. Let me tell you off the top, is that most places that have a front desk, they're fairly safe for you to stay in, okay? Try not to go and stay in any place that has like abnormally narrow pathways on stairs. That should be a very clear indication that this building, even though it has the word hotel on it, is ratchet as hell, right? I didn't call any names, so nobody should come for me on that one. All right. Then there are the basic places that are automatically going to be booked when it's high season. High season is Easter, it's Christmas, okay? Masharami. There you go. Those are the 3 seasons where it's like places like Sleep In, and the Marriott is pretty, consistent, but it is going to be the top of your Guyana spending allowance, okay? If you can fully afford it, and when I say afford it, just think like, what would it cost for me to stay in a 4-star hotel in America for a week? That's probably what it's going to cost you to stay at the Marriott, somewhere around those numbers, okay? Just trying to guide you guys. But then there's other places like the Regency, Sleep In, and then once you get to that geographical area where Sleep In Hotel is, Sleep In last time I knew they had maybe 2 or 3 locations, okay? But we're talking about Sleep In Hotel that is in close proximity to the Regency Hotel, okay? Those are decent places to stay. Decent. Now, the rooms may not be as large as you would want them to be, but then there's bigger hotels like when you go into Providence. But keep in mind that your travel costs to go into Georgetown is going to be a little bit extra because Providence is not really in Georgetown. right? It's kind of like its own leg of a local taxi trip. Here's another thing. You want to leave from the airport to go into Georgetown. Under no circumstance should it cost you more than 20 US dollars. Under no circumstance. No circumstance. I said so. If you have just one suitcase and a carry-on, you could even just take, see if there's, somebody running a mini bus or something like that. Those kind of rides are going to cost you somewhere around the number of 2,000 Guyana dollars, under 10 US dollars. Okay? I said so. The exchange rate is, if you are going to exchange some money out of the airport, I would highly recommend. No, you're not going to get like the extra bit of money that you can benefit by exchanging on the street, but it's just so much safer. So let's start with that. Just go back to that. We are flying in. Try not to take those flights that's landing you into Guyana in the middle of the night. Nope. Try to take a flight. Best flight to take is something first thing in the morning. Because if you could get into Guyana 6 a.m., 8 a.m. Guyana time, by the time you leave the airport and you get to your first leg of your trip in lodging, it's still going to be late morning. You're going to be ahead of time for lunch. You can just just relax, and you could even take a stroll around town and everything like that. Exchange rate is roughly about 200 Guyana dollars to 1 US dollar. Okay? If you're familiar with country areas, more rural areas like Berbice and places like that, if you're taking you're flagging down a car on the main road and you're just going from you're going from one village to another village, a couple of villages away, it shouldn't cost you more than 100, 160. It shouldn't cost you more than 200 Guyana dollars, right? That's less than the 1 US dollars to take that short drop, okay? To get from the airport into let's just say you want to go to the bus park, or where you can catch another set of transportation to go into the Berbice, into the quarantine and that type of thing. It should be somewhere around 1,600, 2,000 Guyana dollars. So that's going to be somewhere about 8 to 10 US dollars, because that is a long trip, okay? This trip is going to be about about 3 hours. It'll be about 3 hours if it's a very safe driver. If it's someone that's kind of like a speed demon, it'll be more like about 2.5 hours, okay? And the good thing is let's just say you just needed to make one stop before you get to your final destination. Most of the taxi drivers, they are willing, the car drivers, long distance car drivers, they are willing to stop somewhere if you got to go get cash or whatever the case may be. Be worried, be very careful of your surroundings, okay? And make conversation, ask questions, right? Ask questions. They're just going to, locals are just going to think you're being social, especially if it's a taxi driver or a car driver. Ask questions for your own safety. Like, what's your name? Really? Do you live in this area? Really? How long have you been driving taxi? Okay. What are the best places to eat at? Ask questions. If you stop somewhere to buy food, offer to get them food as well. Okay? Let me see. Okay, so that kind of skims a little bit on transportation. Lodging, affordable lodging that's going to be decent accommodations, decent, not 3-star or 4-star. Decent accommodations is going to cost you somewhere about 40 US dollars to 75 US dollars a night. That's decent, okay? You want better than decent, it's going to cost you anywhere from 70, 60 US dollars and up, okay? And I'm going to say that. All right, because I'm not here really to promote any kind of like hotel or guest house or anything like that. But there's places in Queenstown, there's places, near the business buildings, in the financial district where you would like get, driver's license and things like that done. Another side note, you can apply to get a temporary driver's license at the airport. Before you exit, you have to show your current driver's license from the state that you reside in, or from your county or from your district, if you're from anywhere from outside, or you're from the continental United States, or whatever the case may be. Okay? Transportation, lodging costs. Let's talk about food. Basic meals are like basic fast food meals. It's food that's been cooked already that day, or things that are like cooked on the spot, such as fried foods, like fried fish with plantain. That's a very common street meal or fast food meal. That should cost you. You want to make sure that it comes up to under $2,000. That's just basic stuff. That's not like fancy restaurants and upstairs restaurants and Chinese restaurants and stuff like that. That's not saying that. That's like decent meals, places where you see there's a lot of traffic. They have some great places over there nearby Georgetown Hospital. I don't remember the name of it, but it's Creole's Cooking. Remember that word, Creole's Cooking. You're going to get your basic like rice and peas that are cooked with, a coconut base. You can get a piece of like roasted or barbecued or fried meat or something on the side with some vegetables and a drink. Okay. That should not really cost you more than 2,000 Guyana dollars. That's about 10 US dollars. Okay. So if you find something that can run you under than that, and it looks good to you, it looks like there's nothing oozing, it doesn't look questionable. Anything that looks questionable, do not eat it under no circumstance. Leave it alone. There's other things to eat. When in doubt and question, you could just go to the local market and get some fresh produce. The only thing about that, excuse me, what's going on? So,
finding more garbage.
What?
I finished cleaning up.
In your bedroom and everything. So what you need to do is just look in the drawer right there and look for a plastic bag. Take it out and roll so you can put it in there.
Okay.
Governing the little ones, teaching them how to do chores. So we talked about, okay, food, anything in question, don't eat it. Don't eat it if you doubt it, okay? Don't try to like inundate yourself with carrying a bunch of like fruits and stuff like that in addition to your suitcases. Like, don't do that, okay? Be careful with that. Like, when you find a place that you want to settle, at least for the night or for a few days, then you can go walk out and you could just grab yourself just a small amount of, fruits and stuff like that, and then you just go and you have dinner. So I talked to you about transportation. I talked to you about how long it takes you to travel from most places. The other thing too, here's something to be aware of. Let's just say you want to go to Berbice, okay? And you want to go to a part of Berbice that, those that know, Berbice splits. Once you've traveled into Berbice, in main travel coming from Georgetown, it splits. It's one side is gonna go to the no, go please, no. Go back and rest it there and bring the garbage receptacle there. Do it correctly. Okay. So it splits, right? So if you're going up the Quarantine Coast, this is like you're going Rose Hall. You're going, towards Skeldon. You're going through Lancaster Village. You're going through Manchester, Kildonan. When you're going up that way, that you need to have that sorted out while you're in Georgetown. Are you hearing me? Because if you think, okay, I'll just take it into Berbice and then I'll catch another car, there's just so much room for error. Like you could literally like forget a bag. You could forget something you traveled with. You can look like a sitting duck at this intersection. You know, it could be dark by the time you get there. It's just like so much room for confusion. It's better that you let your people know that you're leaving Georgetown. Call them when you're leaving. Let them know the name of the driver, the name. Let them know the kind of car. Do as much as you can do, okay, before you even embark on the journey. Don't let anyone rush you. If they're rushing you, leave them alone and take someone else, okay? Safer than sorry. All right. What's the other thing I want to say? Okay, so then the other part of going to Berbice is people that are going New Amsterdam, right? You also need to know what part of New Amsterdam that you're going to. Okay, the same way how the quarantine is just this long road and it takes you all the way, you know, down into Skelton. It's similar, right, with going to the New Amsterdam side, right? So just be worried and be aware of where it is that you're going. Make sure that you get lot numbers and street names and what the main street is outside of that local street that you're going into, that type of thing, okay? So that's currency, basic transportation, food, money exchange at the airport, all right? And then the other thing too is like while you're in Georgetown, some of the guest houses, they may help facilitate you with money exchange there at their establishment, okay? So be safe, guys. I can't stress that enough. I'm trying to think what else I can advise you on. Just a very basic overview. I would also advise that if you're going to go and stay like in the villages or stay with someone, especially if they themselves are not coming to pick you up from the airport, okay? If they are not coming to pick you up from the airport, I would even highly recommend that you do like a 2-day or a 1-night lodging in Georgetown before you embark on that journey. It's a journey that you want to take. Once you start going into Berbice, you start going to Essequibo, you start going into these places that you want to start as early as possible in the day. Okay? You want to get yourself a good little breakfast. You want to, you know, that's another good sign of a decent place, is a place that will at least provide you with breakfast included. That's a very good sign of a decent guest house if you choose to like not reside at the Marriott, okay, you know, or for the length of your stay. So I hope that helps you. Let me give you, I want to give you an example of like what something will cost. Yeah, I did give you examples of like food things, right? Like what that will run you. Most soft drinks, like in a bottle, it'll cost you somewhere between like, you know, like 150 Guyana dollars to like 300 Guyana dollars, right? So 300 is like $1.50 USD. I told you about the taxiing. Let me also tell you this. Let's just say, for an instance, you want a consistent driver. Let's just say you're going to go and you want like a day where somebody is just taking you around. Be flex. If you have a relationship already built with a driver and you're allowing him flexibility to still be able to obtain other fares in between your stops, and he's, you know, in constant communication with you, you can, you know, agree upon a set amount, okay? If you are using somebody to like take you really, really far and he's like waiting with you, you know, you want to think along the lines of cost that would be, you know, around, you know, anything between like 50 and 90, 100 US dollars for the day. Now, that is a little expensive, okay? But that's somebody who's like not taking other fares, okay? Anybody that's taking anywhere between like 60 US dollars to 100 US dollars for like a full day of work, that is somebody that is at your beck and call, okay? And I would suggest that, like, say you're going to do something where it's like you're leaving from Georgetown and you're going to Linden, but you want to return back from Linden, okay? You want to return back to where you started off. I'm going to say that that's a fair amount, okay? And if that's too high, you know, if someone you could negotiate that, or make sure their meals are included, you know, or something like that, you know, make sure you do that. Keep in mind, you know, these are adults that have their own families. They have children and children mothers to take care of. So, you know, don't try to like stiff anybody. Make sure you are in agreement about what your expense is before you embark on the journey. So that is your entire transportation. And then also make sure you cover who is covering fuel for the vehicle. Okay? All right. And then that's it. I'm definitely going to do more videos about this because I lived in Guyana for such a while, you know, for a long time. I even had a baby while I was there. You know, I'm just realizing like, oh my God, there's just so much content because this is content that I, you know, I'm inquiring, you know, through other people about other things. And I'm like, oh my God, I have this information for Guyana, right? I don't need this information. I've already utilized it. I know how to move around. I'm not afraid to ask somebody. I'm not afraid to tell somebody if it's something, if they're charging me too much for something. Because if you realize that you're being overcharged for something and you say something about it, there may be something to do with the market that's causing a change in what the usual cost is, and that vendor won't have a problem with letting you know what that change is. So, you know, keep in mind that, you know, keep in mind that those numbers will change depending on season, depending on what it is, right? Like something that is like something that's, I want to say commodity. I want to use that word. Something like cooking oil. Let's just say that you want organic cooking oil, organic coconut oil. Okay, that's a product that the numbers can fluctuate from 1 week to the next, right? It could go anywhere from like $3,000 to like $6,000 overnight on you. You understand? So, you know, but the things that are going to be really, really consistent is going to be the produce. And then if you have a place that you're staying long term, let's just say that you're planning on going to Guyana and you're staying for an entire month, right? And you're traveling with your family. Or you're staying for 2 weeks, or, you know, or 3 weeks, and you have children and all this other kind of stuff. The best market you can totally, absolutely do, and it seems to have the least amount of scammers, farmer scammers, is going to be the early morning markets. That's the market, not the early morning market, excuse me. It's a market. You're going to find out like when that market day is, and then you're going to go very early in the morning. So very early is like 3 a.m., 3 a.m., 4 a.m. You understand? That's in Georgetown. That's in Port Morant, in Berbice, going up the Quarantine Coast. That is New Amsterdam. They could have good prices too. But I do remember like leaving New Amsterdam and going to the Quarantine to do early morning market shopping. And the prices are fantastic. Fantastic. I'm talking like you're walking away with like whole pumpkins for like $400, which is like $2 US. You know what I mean? Like you're just getting, you know, you're getting wholesale. You're getting close to wholesale prices for those produces and things like that. So they have one in Georgetown as well. That one is It's like on a side of Starbucks, if I'm not mistaken, but I shopped at that market a few times as well. The prices are fantastic. Like, you know, you just ask around, right? Just like, you know, when do you guys have that, like, a really cheap market time? Just ask them, you know, is that the Friday afternoon or is it an early morning? What day? Don't be afraid. Ask locals, befriend them, be really friendly, you know, and then think about like those that like really help you, and they're like not asking, you know, they're not asking. Try to think of a nice gift to leave with them, okay? Because those are the connections that will just really, you know, improve the quality of how you navigate and negotiate in the marketplace when it comes to, you know, your sustenance and, you know, and so, you know, all of that. So, you know, one rule of thumb also when it comes to market shopping, regardless of whatever it is that you're looking to buy, keep in mind that transaction amount. It's 2 for 1, 200 Guyana dollars for $1 US, and then you just do the math from there. Think like what. Okay, maybe they're only charging me maybe 25 cents more, you know, for this bar of soap that I would have bought, you know, locally in the States. Or, you know, think about like, is this manageable for me or not? If it's something where it's like clearly expensive, like you're doing the math and you think this is something I would have bought in the US, I don't know, a bushel of carrots, a bar of soap, I don't know, and think like, are you asking me 500 Guyana dollars, $2.50 for something that I would spend less than, you know, 75 cents for? You gotta like make sure that, you know, you're aware. Be aware, right? So that rule of thumb. And that'll just, you know, even if there is, you know, a little bit of advantage being taken, it's not so much that you can't live with. Here, speaking about that, which reminds me, because this is something that it just never ever got old, no matter how long I stay there. This has to do with hiring house help. Don't ever trust them. Don't ever trust house help. Don't ever trust house help. Second thing, you want to hire a house help? Try to get a direct referral. Go and visit them where they reside before you hire them. Keep that in mind. You hear me? Don't ever trust. Don't ever trust. Also, be careful with being too kind. That has something to do with the colonized mind. We're not going to get into that on this video, right? Because I could be quite political, but it is all within my own experiences. So be careful with being too kind. You want to be kind, make it a very occasional thing. Don't make it a rule of thumb for how you do things for yourself. Okay? Yeah, that's what I'm going to say. That's all I'm going to say for now. Be blessed. Stay blessed. I hope this is a helpful video for people that are, you know, preparing to go home and everything for the holidays. And people are just going to start doing as much traveling as is possibly allowed, especially out of North America. So, you know, keep these things. And I just hope that this video is going to be helpful. I hope it gets to the right people. You know, I'm a proud Guyanese. Proud. I love Guyana. I love Guyana. Oh, let me include that in this video. And then, you know, maybe I'll go into more detail about it on another video. You want the best hospital for general care. It's going to be Balwan Singh. Then there's another hospital. The name is slipping me, but it's in Georgetown. I could describe it. It's like a white hospital, a lot of greenery. There's no parking on the street. And I don't remember the name of the hospital, but it doesn't hurt for you to speak to people that work in these public spaces. Go to like the local GRE office, the local, you know, government building, and speak to somebody at the desk. I'm like, hey, I'm traveling with a child. What's the best hospital that has a pediatrician? And then they're going to guide you, because this is a hospital and they're known for their pediatric care, okay? But Balwan Singh, if you are like having a baby, if you need a surgery, like, you know, thing that's major, Balwan Singh is going to be the best hospital. You let Dr. Madhu know I sent you. And You know, there's a few good hospitals. And let me tell you, if you have something that's pressing as hell, like you're all the way in Berbice, but it is like life and death, but you know that you could withstand, you know, several hours of traveling and all of that because you don't want to risk your life at a hospital over there in Berbice, go to Georgetown. You catch a car and you go. Even if you have to buy 2 seats, that's another thing in transportation I failed to mention, is that you can purchase like the entire back seat of a car. So that means that you're buying transportation that 3 people would have paid, but at least you know that your transport's going to be quicker. You know, it's just going to be you, the driver, and then maybe another rider in the front if you're taking, you know, a shared taxi from Berbice into Georgetown. Stay blessed. This is Shamrondi from Providence Life Design. You know the reason I have to share this video is because of something content that I've been watching. But I would have, like, if I was still living in Guyana, if I was still living there, I would have probably been working for NCN. I know I had applied for a job there. I had read on camera. You know, I would have been doing the news. Okay. You know, definitely getting information out to the masses. You know, utilize whatever skills it is that you have, and you know, decide like, is it a place that you want to like stay for a while, as long as you could travel regularly outside of Guyana, because you're going to need those breaks, you're going to need mental health breaks to leave, you know, do that. All right, stay blessed. This is Shamrani from Providence Life Design. If you are now coming across me, my content, you can follow me on Instagram. My Instagram for my books, for my writing, is PLD, is Providence Life Design Books, or at Providence Life Design. That's my interior design, my you know, my personal and interior design Instagram page. I'm also on Facebook, and I'm here on YouTube. Providence Life Design. Stay blessed. Have a good one. Take care.